Tomorrow marking the 20th anniversary of the September 11, 2001 attack, a day that would change our country and our world forever. Well, we know nearly 3,000 people lost their lives, including hundreds of brave men and women who made that ultimate sacrifice in order to rescue or attempt to rescue the many trapped inside those twin towers that day. On that day, many of us were scared, confused. As those tragic events played out on that horrific morning, many of us, as we remember, frantically calling loved ones, turning on TVs, trying to find out what happened, listening to the radio, trying to follow it all to make sense of it. I want to play you this. This is a clip of the morning of September 11, 2001. This is from the Curtis and Kuby show on WABC Radio, New York, moments after the first plane struck the North Tower. Listen.
8:57 as you rejoin Curtis and Kuby. A terrible disaster has occurred at the World Trade Center. One of the towers up near about the 100th floor. Apparently a plane has crashed in. We don't know the size of the plane at this particular point, according to the eyewitnesses. If we are to consider on it a normal plane crash, because planes do pass the World Trade Center on their routes to LaGuardia on a regular basis.
Joining us now to share his story on September 11, 2001. That's Curtis Sliwa, Republican candidate for New York City Mayor. Curtis, always good to see you, and thank you. What a day coming up, 20 years, and it's hard to imagine. And I'm sure just reflecting on that piece of audio that you just listened to, that must just transport you right back to that day. Take me through that day, because when that first North Tower was struck, as you were saying, many thought it was a prop plane, a little Cessna that possibly hit. No one knew what was about to come later. At 9:03.
Well, in fact, later on in my discussion on the air with my partner at the time, Ron Kuby, who ironically had represented some of the indicted co-conspirators in the first World Trade Center attack in 1992, including Sheikh Omar Abdel Rahman. Remember the Santa Claus wearing blind sheikh of hate, who declared America to be the evil Satan and Israel the little Satan. So he remained quiet. And then I posted, I said, you know, this could be an act of terrorism. I recently was with firefighters who were actually training to go above many of the skyscrapers, the 40th floor, because they were anticipating another strike. And I remember my program director barged in and said, if you say that again, I'm going to have to pull you off the air. And as you know, it was moments later when we saw an airliner strike the second tower. And I think what was most shocking to everyone is when they found out that the towers completely imploded. We thought that maybe just the tops of the towers had fallen and crashed to the sidewalk. But no, it had actually completely imploded, going down, straight down. And then there was nothing. And then everybody realized, wow, we've got double trouble here. We're under attack. We didn't hear from the president. We didn't hear from Dick Cheney, our vice president. Thank God there was Rudy Giuliani, who guided us through that crisis. He never has gotten the credit he is due for being that lone voice, cool, calm, and collected. Yet he himself was almost killed in the rubble, along with most of his staff.
Oh, we just talked to Mr. Mayor just a few moments ago, and he recalls that effort in finding out where he was at the Peninsula Hotel at the time having breakfast when he was informed and went right down there. He was informed by Father Judge, one of his very close friends and advisors, to go off his instinct in that day, because there was no blueprint for what happened. No one knew what to do, including the President of the United States. There wasn't any type of plan in place for something like this. Everyone in that region literally went off instinct. Lives were lost that day, but lives were also saved, and I know the Guardian Angels were a part of that.
Yes, in fact, right after the broadcast, I immediately descended into the pit because there was no mass transit, so I had to run down there. And we performed the duty of substituting for the men and women who were on the brigade. We called it the pickup brigade because you couldn't use hydraulic tools. You couldn't use jackhammers. There was such a fear that any vibrations would cause other buildings nearby to implode. So you had the Bucket Brigade. So late at night, when firefighters and cops and other volunteers went home to get a little sleep, shower, eat some food, we continued in the bucket line, and we were there for weeks and weeks on end. The smell was reminding you every day that was the world's largest crematorium. And most importantly, the videos and the pictures will never do justice to what actually I was exposed to, and thousands of others who threw all caution to the wind and ran right down into the pit to see if there was anyone still alive or if they could recover any items to give closure to families who knew that probably their beloved family members were smashed to smithereens that day.
Interesting enough, 2 more victims were identified as of recently in that attack. Many don't know about 40% of those attacked are still yet to be identified. At the time, we didn't have the DNA tools to be able to do so, and clearly that attack of that magnitude would be difficult to identify those bodies. And you talked about that cleanup, 1.8 million tons of debris in that area, just alone trying to imagine something like that. Curtis, I believe you're part of a documentary that we're airing tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Set your DVRs for it. You can hear more from Curtis, Rudy Giuliani, and others. Curtis, thinking about you, and thank you so much for your efforts on that day. We will remember. We will never forget. Thank you.
Oh, we better not, because they're coming back for a third bite. You know, in some cave in South Yemen or Iraq or in Afghanistan where we shamefully retreated, they're coming for us again, and they're coming to the big NYC.
Well, let's pray that doesn't happen. If that does happen, let's pray our military is ready. Curtis, thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.